Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 295 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we are going to design pink science and also do a turn of shame to deliver resources. Enjoy! I didn't choose the wisest of places to put it because it would bump into this, and we definitely don't want to extend it because this is the main bus, which is going to be the biggest place of resources. You see all the empty spaces it still has, so we want to move it. So where would we go? Well, it kind of depends on how things would expand. This would expand outwards and maybe upwards, but I really don't see it doing it at this point, just because of the fact we rebuilt it already and we wouldn't rebuild it again anytime soon. So this space is probably available. All of this seems unlikely it would get used. The circuit bus went here, and it might actually have to turn again. So, yeah, this area seems available. So now the question is, how much space do we want to have? Well, we're probably going to be running over some stuff here, but I think we want to give us quite a wide berth because that's the edge of the bus, and it's unlikely it would ever be bigger than that because that's productivity modules of a previous tier and yellow machines, so any future builds would probably be smaller. So we'd have to line it up there. Just use some belts to do it. So we come here, just yank this out a bit, and find somewhere that doesn't have trees. So something in line there. Then we'd want to look at the size of this setup and how big do we think we'd want it. Well, it comes down here. Let's just try to aim for the same width. So if we went with this, it would be approximately this wide. Let's play it safe and, like, I don't know, put it right here. So something like that, where the main bus looks like the last main belt would be like right there. So let's kind of grab all of that. Let's just bring some of these tiles with us so we can see. So we said the last main belt was like lined up with this thing. So something like that. We're not sure which belt would go where, but we can try to figure it out. So that's just the width of red belts. We've got 4 of them. That would be 40 slots that we need. Which I have no idea if it would actually fit here or not. 33. Well, it could if this kept going. There we go. Getting them all in here would be kind of annoying, but it would fit, so that would be our path. We would just have the belts come in here and go down. We don't need to send them all down yet because we might not actually need all these resources. We just want to get the position of the belts figured out, because now we know how big it's going to be. We can start placing all of the landfill. I'm probably going to need to go grab a great deal of it. Alright, that should get it all covered. Bots can't quite reach all of it, but they will eventually, and looks like we are running out of slag. Because we're just grinding through it to make that stone. Oh well. So we have our general idea of where it's going to go. So now we can figure out the build. And how to get started. Well, we started with pink, and it looks like it's the slightly simpler version. So we'll start with the end part. Come in here, we're going to have resources coming from each side, so I guess one will come from one side and one will come from the other. Where these are all super slow numbers. So the output would go down, and also the input would come from up top as well. And we'll see what this looks like. Numbers are super low. There we go. Copy, copy. So we got 6, 12, 18, 24, and we could just do 2 more to get 26. So this would come up and basically come from 2 different sides there. Let's, how about we do, let's do the memory cells on this side. So we'll pull this one out here. It's a little complicated, but it's actually quite simple because all of these machines are 11111. It's been a while since we've used an electronics assembling machine for anything. I really don't know the best way of handling this, just because it's so many things with 1 to 1. So I guess just start somewhere over here and figure out where we want to go. So it's a memory cell, which I guess would be flanked by 2 integrated electronics ones. We'll flip those that way. Could we do direct insertion? Actually, we probably could. Let's see. Let's put this here for now just so there's no flashing, because we need to have the solder and the copper wire come in from somewhere else. But they could also be direct inserted, so when you have all these 1 to 1 to 1s, they end up being quite simple in this regard. But they can also be kind of messy. So there's the solder machine. It can just have productivities. These ones need their productivities. Let's see. I don't know. Resources from somewhere. Solder goes in. And then this is the gilded copper wire, which in itself comes from regular. And I guess the 2 resources can kind of come up this way. So it needs a little bit of gold. And I think that's slightly too fast for a yellow here at 3.1, so we'll do blue, which is plenty fast, and then it actually gets reduced, which is interesting. 4.5 wires go in, but only 2.25 come out. So productivities, so that is covered, this is covered. So now the only thing it needs are these circuits, and they do have these pipes which would need to get covered, but they can come from anywhere. Question is how do we get the resources in here? Looks like we can't quite do direct insertion because just too much goes in here, but although maybe we could, because we do require a full-size machine here, which could have long-handed things. So that would be chopping up the monosilicon. So it would need plastic and then the wire. I don't know, but the wire is kind of annoying. So let's do the wire being direct inserted. And this is kind of going to be funny looking, but I think it's going to be fine. Just trying to get as much direct insertion as we can because of how simple it basically is. It looks complicated, but it's really not. So with those, we need the chopper. Productivities. And I guess we didn't put productivities in there, but they're in there now. Inserter. Inserter. And then it would have to insert into there, however it made sense. And I guess we'll pull up from here, because then the belt could be something like that. And it would be like a super long-handed inserter or something. We would have another belt coming from here. And actually we could get these super long-handed ones set up now. Yeah, we definitely need super long. So pick up from way over here, drop from way over here. Does it reach? Yes, but it will hop over. So you have to be real careful about that. So we actually want it to drop like that, so it doesn't miss. And hopefully the distance changing doesn't cause any problems. Okay. And then another belt would come in, and let's pull this one this way. For now, just send it over there. because we need to populate this belt right here. So, in, it will have plastic on one side, and then it'll have a chopper on the other, so let's see, we can put it here. Something comes in. In fact, because it's so small, it can actually just kind of have a belt going straight into it like that. Although it might take up slightly less room on the bus if it was sideways like this. So that goes in, and then it drops it out. And then the other input would go in there. That could go up that way. And kind of remind us how things are going, because it would be kind of like that. This one would have to come from somewhere, but it could be absolutely anywhere. There would be pipes, which actually could kind of like come over here and then connect to something. All right, let's follow this here, where our end goal are these memory cells. Let's follow the gilded copper wire and just make sure all these machines are ones, with the exception of basically electronic components, which are 2. So the gilded copper wire comes from here. It needs regular copper wire, which is here, and they get both of their resources from this combined belt. It needs solder, which just comes from a solder chopper up there. And it needs electronic circuits, which are here, which has its 4 requirements. Sulfuric acid, which will just come in from somewhere. And then it needs silicon and plastic. The plastic just comes up. The silicon gets chopped here, and they pick up from there. The other thing it needs is the wire, which comes from here, needs rubber and the tinned copper wire. Tinned copper wire is there, and it gets both of its components up there. So, believe it or not, that is it to feed that whole part. Well, okay then. Guess we can go down and up, but it might be a little more expandable if it went up instead, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'll just pick it up with the power pole in there, and we'll see what we want to do. But it lines up there. We line up the machines because they look nice and pretty like this. And got to get everything in here. So right there, right there. It's very organic. And that's basically it. I guess this can kind of just come from over here. It's kind of a little zigzaggy, but that's it. Okay, so then the other side will be the flying cargo kits, which we need to make of its 2 components. But let's see here. The actual machine that makes them is quite simple. So let's make the 2 components side by side and then just mix them together, and then they will mix again up here in tiny numbers. So what's that? The transport engine is right here. And I guess we'll have to look over this and put in the modules and everything, but we can do that kind of at the end, because this doesn't need them. So transport engine, it's going to have to get its fluids. It could be direct inserted on one side, but on the other it cannot be. Okay, we'll do the direct inserted one over here. It needs the ball bearings. Productivities, looks like a blue inserter. And let's get power so there's no blinking. Resource comes up from somewhere. Guess we'll just put it on the bottom so it lines up. And the other side is going to need its gears. Blue insert is fine. Cobalt steel. It would come up. Just in. Long-handed out. Don't have to worry about other stuff, but let's see. Actually, let's do the outs there. So it won't fight or anything. And productivities. Although this also needs its circuits and aluminum plates, and that's enough of them where it kind of matters. So let's just pick this up for a second. Put it right there. Have this come up Let's see, what kind of output do we get? 6 or so? Let's just put 2. So that's the 2 inputs. This can go there, but it might look a little prettier if it was actually spaced, even though it doesn't need to be. Then we'll do an extra long-handed inserter, which works because it won't actually skip the machine, because it's a 3x3. And fluid from somewhere. So let's double check. Aluminum plates and circuit boards just come straight in. Titanium balls come from over there, and it just grabs its titanium from this side. Then the gear wheels come from over here. They just pull in their resources and shoot it back. And it gets its lubricant. And I guess we also need an output. Let's do this. So then that pipe can go up there, and then the output can kind of just go up, wherever it needs to go. And we'll figure that out in a second. In fact, maybe having something up here and going down would work. So we come over here. We need to do the automated storage now, which is fairly similar. In fact, we can probably keep these belts kind of lined up because it basically uses the same stuff. So let's see what we can do there. So this would come up, and we'll just pick a spot, I guess. And let's go higher. We can line it up later. This one needs the gear wheels. Tiny input and kind of tiny output. Let's see, it needs brass and electronics, which could kind of come in like this again. So it's starting to look fairly similar. Where those two would come in. We'd have a manufacturing machine lined up, making the storage. And the numbers are a lot smaller now. The yellow would probably be fine for all of this. I'll just grab from down low here. This would shoot from up above, just a standard long-handed would work. And probably the output would come down. So we'll just do that. So that takes care of logic boards, brass plates, and then the gear wheels, and then the balls would be from over here, which also only needs one machine, which is super convenient. Oh, I want it to be lined up so bad, but I guess it doesn't really have to be because it can just use this belt. So if we did this and had the belt go straight up, could be the cobalt steel going in here, and just to make it symmetrical, going like over there. And one more of those. So let's see here. Ball bearings from over here, sharing those resources. Gears from over here, sharing those resources. And the other two, which would have to be snaked in here, but they totally can just kind of hop over or whatever they need to do. And then we'll have our two outputs, which need to be combined right there in a single machine. And I guess it can go in the middle, so at this point it's how close can we jam it all in here? Actually, it could potentially be very close. Well, that has to be there. So let's pull all of this out for now. Give us some space. So this could go here, could also go there, but could we do direct insertion? Would this work? Probably if they were long-handed it would. And I guess since we're at this point, we can start putting the power poles in. Oh, look at that. It's right in the middle. Good. Looks like it does need a speed module, though. Yeah, I'll just kind of do that. Let's see. Were there any weird outputs on here? I don't think so. None of the byproducts. Okay. Pick it up, put it on the other side. Line it up with all the other machines. Although we probably want it to be one more space over. Like that. Because the final output of this does have to be in here. And you know, this could go anywhere, it doesn't really matter. We'll figure it out. But this one could be kind of like that. So it would go up, Combine. So we need the cargo kits and the memory cells. And I think that takes care of it. Alright, well what about modules? Well, we'll start with efficiencies. And put 2 of them in every machine that has room. And then fill up whatever's left over with these. Because all of these can basically hold 4, so... Can't really see on some of these because the icons are too big and the machines are too small, but that's it. Feels good. I liked how that turned out and pleasantly surprised at how small it was. Since we've gone through the effort of designing this, we might as well plug it in and see how it works. So, make a grand copy of it. I guess we'll just start with this one on the top. Uh-oh, don't do that. Let's see. We need to figure out where the bus would start. And that would essentially be this belt here. So we'll mark it. And there we go. That would be the very top. And we wouldn't necessarily start over here. We'd probably want to just start right there. But that just gives us an idea of where it goes. And it was a total of 4 of these wide. So we can use red belts to tell us where they all are. Let's clear it up a bit. To like right there. I was actually thinking the science bus was going to be huge, but I guess not. It's just requires resources, but it's actually not very complicated. Or maybe it would have been. But because we took the time to make all of the initial resources, that we didn't need to make anything new. So for example, if we needed to make gold for this, and didn't even have tier 3 ore sorting, well then that would be a problem. Or if we needed green circuits, and we had to build that, that would be a problem. So maybe that is the reason why this seems kinda easy. I was really expecting it to be a lot harder. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do robots actually come up here all the way? Not quite. We can continue. I did make this little square here, so you've noticed that a lot of these are perfectly spaced. Well, I was using this pattern to do it. And I kind of stopped because just the robots have so much work in front of them already. But, I mean, they mostly reach. We'll place them down in a second. So, this first science setup is right here. Let's just give it some space so it's not mashed in there in case something changes. And, how about, like, right there? Rock is in the way. So, yeah. Seems good. So, did I get one more of these patterns in here? Almost. So those are over there, and then just like up here, down there. Just put the stuff everywhere. And now we wait. But we can try to get all the resources in. I'm gonna need so many belts for this. I'll just fly back and get them. Because it's going to be pretty insane. And they're basically all going to be red belts. So I'll just grab what we have. Oh yeah, we didn't, we lowered the limit of this. Oh well, I'll let it stay low. I just didn't want to wait for the robots, but I guess they're really not that far away, so it wouldn't take very long if we just placed this with ghosts instead. Before we continue, maybe we should do a train station to pull any of the new stuff. And this is going to be a dynamic station. Oh, there's an empty spot right there. Well, fixed, I guess. Just keep placing these anytime we're in a place that needs them. So yeah, I guess just down here. Anything about this need to be changed? Probably not. Yeah, I think we've got one of these saved because it's such a big thing. We're definitely going to need to make some space for it. And we're also going to probably have plate choppers in here. So maybe we should just take this area down here instead. And I just got rid of all that landfill, but it looks like we're going to need more. So if it was like right here, Maybe the landfill would be down to here. Although we could use bridges for a lot of this stuff. So maybe it would only actually need to come down to... right around there. Yeah, probably. It's kind of funny to place blueprints of landfill, but I guess you can. Well, while we're waiting on that, I guess we will continue our task here. Basically, we need to get all of this in here, and I wonder if there's a way just to show those inputs, because you can only pin these individual ones, but I guess we can kind of just put it down here, but then it's weird. But that kind of works, slamming it over there. So we need to be extra careful that all these are lined up, and unfortunately, all of these are going to be in the way. I don't think there's an easy way to fix that, besides just straight up moving them. Like, I think we just have to pick it up. Oh, that sucks. Because they're bricks, they will take up a ton of space. But maybe a little bit less if I help. But man, that's so many bricks. My God. So there were 10? Uh-oh. Robots are coming for them. No. That's where they all went. No. Don't help me. Uh-oh. This might be... no. A hopeless endeavor. Yeah, they're just gonna take them, aren't they? Well, they pick them up in pretty big stacks, though. Oh my God. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, it's just kind of difficult to do this, specifically with these, because you can't just click on the bricks and have them all go in. You have to pick them up one at a time here. So I really didn't want to move this, but here we are. Why are there so many bricks in here? I don't know, maybe I should just let robots do this? Sure. Let's just embrace the chaos. Well, it looks like they're actually trying to place them right here. Which, that's weird. I guess it kind of makes sense. And I think I took those out for a reason, so there's a reason why all these don't have chests attached to them anymore. Man, they need charge ports bad here. Uh-oh. Yeah, we need some serious charge ports in here. They keep exploding. Well, if it's dumping all those there, I don't know if I actually want it to do that. Do we actually need like 20 of them in each of these? It seems like we wouldn't. They keep crashing. I think I just might have to help them with this one. I don't know if there's a way to do this faster where you can unstick all the robots by telling him, nah, don't go there. Gotta be using like every single robot, and we totally are. Oh, and don't put them there. Oh, this didn't even have the input priority set. Why is the output priority on? That doesn't do anything. Now they're all stuck charging on those again. I think I'm going to do the crossover, because if we wanted this to be perfectly straight, these belts would come out here and then down, but they kind of interfere with these here. And it looks like it would be kind of annoying to get them in there, but I guess we could. Yeah. We'll see. Just trying to do the minimum amount of move everything all over the place. But unfortunately, bricks are just the kind of thing that takes so much energy to move around, especially when I have the settings changed so every one stacks in units of 1,000, but all of the Angel Bob stuff stacks like that anyway, so the settings I changed don't make it that different. Look at that. Interesting, there's no signal on there, but it's probably just because it's not active right now. And how many bricks did they put in here? 25,000? Okay. Did the bots actually place this stuff? Doesn't look like it, but I think they're just straight up busy. Because they are grabbing the landfill from here, so they are working. So much going on. And power's alright. So one thing I did is that the default setting for the accumulators being powered from the fuel blocks was like 30% or something like that. I increased it to around 80, so we actually used some of our accumulator capacity here. And it was set like that just because it was a secondary way of power production, and mostly it was coming from solar. But that's not the case anymore. So I think the settings are the fuel blocks get it up to 80%, and the wood blocks, if available, get it up to 85%, and then the solar panels do 90%, and that's just how the solar panels normally were anyway. Well, at least the pile-up is gone. We're about to get to 10,000 logistic spots. And hey, there we go. Robots are placing the landfill. Finally got that picked up. So now it's just a question of waiting for all this to get cleared out, but I think we're pretty good. Alright, what's the first resource? Iron. Makes sense. Do we need it? Ironically enough, not on this one. But on this one we do. So let's just run the belt out so we know where it is. And let's try to hop over this whole thing so we don't cover up the lights. So careful, don't walk out of the network. It would come from down here. And over there, so that's what we need to not compete with. And finally hooked up again. Alright. Well, robots are toiling away at that. But let's see if we can get back to what we were working on. But that's going to have to wait until the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.